Alright guys, pretty close now to picking up the 7 league total. Last couple of performances haven't actually been that great, but we're still getting the job done. I want you to pick things up in this next game against Coastal Spirit. We could lift the lead, but honestly it's not likely. Going to need both Christchurch United and Selwyn to slip up against some teams near the bottom. But then we take on Wellington Olympic in the Chatham Cup. Now that is a really good test for us before we should make our way through to that championship stage of the National League, okay? So take that game very seriously. Good test for us to see if we're the real deal, and if we're not, then we need to work on things, okay? Big game in the Cup, want to make the quarterfinals. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 43 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and with Cashmere Technical. And coming up today, going to try and wrap up the 7 league title for our first season here down south. We've still got 4 games left in the season. If results go away over the course of our next couple of games, we should be able to wrap that up with a couple of games in hand. And off the back of this first game today, where we take on the Coastal Spirit, big clash in the 4th round of the Chatham Cup as we take on the perennial big dogs in the Central League in Wellington Olympic, and with that one being away from home, that will also be a bus trip. So if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but honestly, haven't gone forward too far off the back of yesterday's episode. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Did pick up the OFC Nations Cup in 2028 with the All Whites, and then picked up a 1-0 win over Christchurch United, our close challengers here in the 7 league. What that means, with 4 games left in the 7 league season, we are 8 points clear, so a good result here and a not so good result for both Christchurch United and Selwyn. That could mean that we do pick up the league title, albeit they take on, if we have a look at the fixtures on this match day, they both should be winning those games. As Selwyn United, they host Otago University, who are right down the bottom of the 7 league. Unfortunately, can't see it from this screen, but also Christchurch United, they take on Ferrymead Bays, who we have thrashed each time that we have played them. So I think we'll have to fit in 3 games during the course of today's episode, but there is a chance if they both slip up and we pick up a win, that this could be the game that we do pick up the 7 league title, and that would be quite nice considering off the back of the Wellington Olympic game, we don't play for a month and a half, so quite a big gap in between those games, which we could be playing during the course of today's episode. Hopefully might find a way to wrap things up here as we do take on the Coastal Spirit. They are off at Linfield Park, but this one is at the GMP Garrick Memorial Park, so a home game for us here. Hopefully can pick up 3 points, and that should take us pretty close to wrapping up this 7 league title, still unbeaten this season. Just that one draw against Selwyn United a couple of episodes ago, but same injury concerns that we did have going in to yesterday's episode with Ryan Hanna and Inchin Gaze out. He's not too far away. Both of those players, though, should be back off the back of this game for the resumption of the 7 league, if we need to worry about that too much, but we'll come back shortly and see if this is the match day where we can lift the 7 league title as we host the Coastal Spirit. And here are the team sheets for this clash against the Coastal Spirit, a team that we beat 2-0 away from home in the first part of the season. Couple of changes due to tiredness in our squad. Payne is the right-sided centre-back, also Hover at left-back. We've got our new signing Johnson in the DLP, and also Gilbert up front instead of Al Ghazali. There were Coastal Spirit. I think they were going there with a 4-4-2, and a win here could potentially, if results go away, help us lift that 7 league title. And it hasn't taken long at all here for the first highlight in this game. Did delay for a minute. The Coastal Spirit did get the ball back. We win it back there through a tackle. Walker there tries to make his way into the box. They clear it, but he gets it back here and plays that one in to Adam Does FM. Picks out Ariosa. Nice touch there to find some space on the right-hand side of the box, and Does FM, my son, will grab an early assist. He seems to be on fire in the early stages of our games here this season at Cashmere Technical. And Emerson Ariosa, our Brazilian central attacking midfielder, will pick up the opening goal. And early stages, this one looks like it could be a bit one-sided. Not that Coastal Spirit have had too much ball so far, but we take a very early 1-0 lead. And things have quieted down a little bit off the back of that opening highlight and goal, but Coastal Spirit here are looking to play out from the back. So far, no updates from those other games involving Christchurch United and Selwyn United. So at the moment, I think this result could actually be enough for us to lift the league, but still a long way to go. But that's a good shot from long range there, just outside the box. First time finish from Nathan Walker, even does a forward roll, which I'm not too sure about as a celebration, especially that one, which looked a little bit awkward and now pops up. Otago Uni are beating Selwyn United. So things going to plan here for us at Cashmere Technical. That's a nice finish there though from Walker. The assist from Ariosa to make it 2-0. If we can grab one more goal soon, might be time for us to start looking a bit more at this around the ground screen. Still 0-0 in the game between Christchurch United and Fury Mead Base, which is a bit surprising. Fury Mead didn't look like much chop this season, the 3 times that we played them, the 2 in the league, and also when we beat them in the first round of the Chatham Cup. But highlight here, Coastal Spirit, they clear the ball there after Nathan Walker, it looked like, just got stopped there for some reason. Back on the attack, Hover puts that one into the mixer. It's a mess, but Adam does FM, my son, will poke that one home and pick up yet another goal. He's been on fire for us here at Cashmere Technical, especially in the Southern League. We'll see if that carries over into the National League, which no doubt will be a little bit tougher. But that is a scrappy goal, but 3-0 halfway through the first half. I think we're going to pick up all 3 points from this game. Now we're going to keep a big eye out on those other 2 fixtures to see if we might win the league on this match day. In fact, just as we're about to cut that off, there is another highlight here where we might get a chance here to score another playing out from the back. Does look like here Coastal Spirit not up to too much, albeit as I say that, they do win the ball. Try and play this one over the top, but Albertina's there, our captain, to tidy that one up at right back. Now Munoz plays that forward, good ball there, and Ariosa can run in field onto that one. Adam Masson is on the ball, loses out there to Hogan, but he'll get this back here from Hover, squares that nicely for Michael James Gilbert, and he must have been onside. The goal will stand, of course, as I've mentioned a few times, no VAR here in the New Zealand National League. So seeing as the referee did not blow that one up, he must have just been onside. Rather fortunate there to keep the ball off the back of that tackle from Hogan, but good work there from Hover. Does FM, he finds Gilbert. This one's pretty much as good as done already. 4-0 up inside half an hour. And just about to make our way into the last 5 minutes of this game, surprisingly still 0-0 between Fury Mead and Christchurch United, but there is a highlight here, a free kick in our favour. They do clear it initially, do the Coastal Spirit, but good tackle there, but Janssen can tidy things up for us. Can the former AIS man who thankfully chose us over Melbourne City, quite promising Australian who can play as a deep line playmaker as well as a central attacking midfielder. He's a DLP at the moment, while Ryan Hanna is out with an injury. Coastal Spirit there, briefly get the ball, try and hoof it clear, but yet again, we camp inside their half. Does FM is on the ball, bit of a loose touch there, and Coastal can try and clear this one yet again, but I think that one's a bit too deep, and yet again, we get the ball back. So at the moment, they're just struggling to clear danger. Walker plays that back to Janssen. Now Hover makes his way into the final third. Janssen from just outside the box. That apparently is his second goal of the season. Not too sure about that one. In fact, there it is. It's actually his first goal for the senior team. That other one might have come for the under-20s or the B team, but that is a nice finish from our new signing, the Australian, just outside the box. Well placed, that one into the top right corner. Nothing Kupak can do about that one. 5-0 before half-time, and still 0-all in that game between Fury Mead Bays and Christchurch United. So might actually be on here for lifting the title with a couple of games in hand, and also before that really annoying break that we do have coming up off the back of our next game in the Chatham Cup. Just checking on player fitness while we're here, and to be fair, everyone out there is doing a decent job. We'll just make subs when we need to, and we'll get the second half underway with that 5-0 lead. And just shy the 10-minute mark here in the second half, Christchurch United have grabbed a 1-0 lead, so it would mean we'd need to play them in a game later on in today's episode if we are to lift the Southern League title. So that's not ideal, but hopefully Fury Mead Bays can do us a favour as we make our first attack here of the second half. Nice ball there from Does FM for Gilbert. A little bit slow on it, but thankfully takes his time, good composure, and he will pick up, I believe, that's a double as he busts out the archer there in that top left corner of the field. That makes it 6-0. This game, as has been the case for quite a while now, absolutely done and dusted. Coastal Spirit not up to too much at all. We're 6-0 in front, but now need Fury Mead Bays to grab a goal back to make it a title-winning game. And in fact, while we're here, going to make a sub as Albertina's down to a red heart, and Zalgi can come on for him. And there's just been a goal in the Ferrymead Bays game, and it has actually been by Ferrymead Bays. It hasn't quite popped up maybe before I started talking for this highlight, but I'm pretty sure that scoreline just changed to 1. Also, currently, this would actually be a title-winning performance. Good chance there for Nathan Walker just over the bar, and while we're here, we'll make our last 2 subs as well. Pajas for Munoz, and also we'll bring on Al Ghazali here. I think for Ariosa could also bring on someone like Tolove and just shift around that midfield, but we might try Al Ghazali here as a shadow striker. That could be interesting in a situation where we've already wrapped up this game. Just see if a shadow striker could work with this vertical tiki-taka that we do use. But we'll go forward and show you guys hopefully what I saw before on the score update. There it is in the bottom right, 1-1 between Ferrymead and Christchurch United. So currently this would be a result which would see us lift the title. There's a highlight here at the 70-minute mark now. We'll see if it's a decent one. There's been a couple in this game already that haven't been up to too much. Not ideal when really at this point with a 6-0 lead, don't really need to see too many more highlights from this game if they're not goals. Really just want to keep an eye out on those other games involving both Christchurch United and Selwyn. To be fair, haven't seen quite as many updates from that Selwyn game, but apparently according to the league table, they must be drawing because they're still 10 points behind us as well. But Al Ghazali makes his way forward as that shadow striker, but that is a weak shot. Still 6-0 in front with 20 minutes left and could be lifting the league title. And we've just made our way into the last 10 minutes of this game. There's been a couple of highlights since you were last here, but no score updates from those other games and no goals here. So I didn't think it was worth showing you guys. Good tackle there on Does FM, but Hover will get that one back for us so fast. Coastal Spirit just not able to hang on to the ball. And Adam will pick up his 9th goal of the season. Pumps that one into the right-hand corner. Kupak didn't even move. Now the big celebration there by my son. He sure loves one of those. Bit of a Ben says about him from the Black Caps and that most recent test against Australia, which did not end well. But Does FM will pick up a double. He's having a superb game. I think he's got a couple of assists as well. That makes it 7-0. Got a rugby score going on here in Christchurch. Shouldn't mention that at the moment either because the Crusaders kind of suck so far this season, but still 1-1 in that Ferrymead Bays and Christchurch United game. Trying to find Selwyn, can't quite find them yet. It must have been a draw, and somehow we've won the title with 3 games in hand. Was not expecting that, at least in terms of those other 2 teams slipping up against Otago Uni, bottom of the league, and Ferrymead Bays not too far above them. That is certainly a surprise, but so far an unbeaten season for us here at Cashmere Technical, and we lift the Southern League title with a couple of games in hand off the back of a 7-0 thrashing of the Coastal Spirit. So we pick up the Southern League title a bit quicker than expected here at Cashmere Technical. Thought we might have to go forward and play Christchurch United off the back of that little break that we do have, considering we have less teams in our division than the Central League and the Northern League. But there's the confirmation. We pick up the Southern League title for the first time since 2025-26, which I'm pretty sure means that was just 2025, seeing as the seasons here in New Zealand just run during a calendar year. Christchurch United have been the dominant team over the last few seasons, but this time we smash our way through to picking up the Southern League. We'll just go up a bit further and see what else is in the inbox. Off the back of lifting that title there, you can see it's the 3rd time that we have won the Southern League with Cashmere Technical, but the first time since we've been in charge, albeit just a 1-star reputation league. Hopefully can pick up the National League. That might help us boost our reputation. If we can do that a couple of times, the board, they are happy. They did expect us to win the Southern League after changing the expectations off the back of all those transfers we did do going into the start of the season. Apparently I was in top form. In fact, no, it's my son. That makes a lot more sense. 2 goals and 3 assists. He's so far, I think, been the star player for us here at Cashmere Technical. As I said, hopefully that will continue once we move forward to the National League stage. But with a couple of games in hand, already the champions, and through to that National League Championship, we'll come back in a week's time and do a bus trip before we take on Wellington Olympic in a big 4th round tie in the Chatham Cup. And we have gone for the week off the back of lifting that Southern League title off the back of that 7-0 win over the Coastal Spirit. And now it's time for our toughest test so far this season. I think it's fair to say here at Cashmere Technical, we take on usually the big dogs of the Central League away from home in the 4th round of the Chatham Cup. This is certainly the big glamour tie of this round, the last one before the quarterfinals as we travel up to Wellington to take on Olympic. Of course, this is a team we signed quite a few players from for the first season with AFC Auckland. So that should show you guys these guys do have a pretty good development system, albeit not too sure how that has got on since we pinched all their good players for AFC Auckland, but currently in 4th on the Central League table, albeit if we actually check that out, they have got quite a few games in hand. So I think that table might just be a little bit untrustworthy at the moment, especially when you actually look at it. They're only 1 point off with those games in hand of being joint top. So I think currently it's fair to say they are the best team in the Central League, and Western Suburbs are in that league as well, the OFC Champions League winners in this current season. So it's certainly quite a strong Central League. This should be a lot tougher than the teams we've taken on so far in the Southern League with this Cashmere Technical team. But before we get stuck into this big tie in the Chatham Cup, have just checked, because we did travel up the day before, so it is time for a bus trip, but before then, need to find our accommodation. And to be fair, haven't found too many good hotels near Wakefield Park in Wellington and Island Bay, the suburb where Wellington Olympic do play their games, but this one isn't too far away, and I'll level with you. I'm gonna pick the Movenpick Hotel because they give away free ice cream to people who stay there. It's really harsh on the players, but like chocolate hour, just give it to me. Like, this is perfect, isn't it? Look at the other food looks quite good too, but chocolate hour, ice cream, whatever that stuff is. Look, I don't even care how much it costs. I don't think it was actually that bad when I checked it. Like, I just gotta stay here, don't I? Just get the carbs loaded up. I'm not playing, but I can do some carb loading while I'm there. Top notch, keep me nice and full for the game. We're going to the Movenpick. I'm going to get a massive sugar high and we'll be all good for the bus trip. And this is where we started our journey. Here's the outside of the Movenpick Hotel with all that delicious dessert inside. Now we're going to make our way on about a 5 to 6 kilometre journey to Wakefield Park and Island Bay. We'll see what pops up on the way there. And not much happening so far as we are on, I think this is Guzmi Street, but we're just about to make our way over a bridge. And if you watch the former bus trips in the series, you know that this can be a little bit of an issue, but thankfully that overbridge actually not too bad. So it's just Auckland that I think is an issue with their bridges as well as Australia. And just we're about to go past a yoga gallery, might be a nice place there to do our pre-match warm-up, but we're going towards Brooklyn, not the city centre or Oriental Bay. So time for us to take a right-hand turn, and this will take us, where's a street sign, down Victoria Street. There's a street span as well, just all the ice cream here in Wellington in this trip. And coming up to another turn for us now, because we actually want to take the left here and go towards the airport and Seaton. So we're going to make our way up here to the traffic lights, and next up we are going down where is a street sign so I can see it. I've got no idea what the street is called. There it is, it's Vivian Street, so we'll see what's down here. And going down Vivian Street, we have found a bit of a student precinct here, lots of little shops here and cafes, an NZ Post, a subway, up the road was a Z station, and just across the road you got Victoria University of Wellington, where all the smart kids go over the Cook Strait. And just about to go for a set of lights, still just making our way past Victoria University, and we've got a Briscoes. So this is the first time I've actually gone past the Briscoes in a bus trip. This is usually where you get all your homeware and whatnot. This one, lots of graffiti, so I think the Briscoes lady will be coming for those people. And just going past the PB Tech, which to be fair I should probably be going in quite often being a video maker and whatnot, and also the Warrior Training Academy. Don't know what that place is up to. Should we see what the Warrior Training Academy actually do? Can I find out? Boxing, kickboxing, so it's all the sort of prison violence stuff that they do there at the Warrior Training Academy. Probably should have known that from the name, but now it's time for us to take here, I think it's a right hand turn. If we can somehow make our way to doing that, we can, and we go down here the street going past the Toyota, and again keeping on that route to the airport in Seaton as well as the National War Memorial. That could be something that we do check out. And I'm not sure how I missed this, but we're going past one of the most famous roundabouts in the world. It's the Basin Reserve, one of the more famous cricket grounds here in New Zealand. I mentioned some cricket stuff earlier. This was where a game was played, which we also lost to Australia. But here's the roundabout, which goes around the cricket ground. If you watch the cricket, you often hear lots of beeping and drivers just getting so annoyed at each other. It's quite a noisy ground, that one actually. I think Hagley might be a little bit more peaceful, but we lose there as well, so I don't think it makes too much difference. But either way, making our way here around the basin reserve. And now on the other side of the basin is actually somewhere I've been in real life, so I know exactly where we're going now. Take the left-hand turn at the Duckworth Lewis accommodation, cricket themed and whatnot, and we now start to make our way towards Island Bay and apparently a hospital and a zoo as well. And up we go past the Meccas and up Adelaide Road. As we continue to make our way up Adelaide Road, so far I'll be honest here, it hasn't been up to too much, just lots of shops and food and all that sort of stuff, which might be useful on the way home. Maybe burger fuel instead of the fish and chips we had a couple of episodes ago, but we keep going forward and seeing what else is on our way here to Wakefield Park in this big clash in the Chatham Cup. And fair to say we're making our way through the suburbs now as we go a bit deeper down Adelaide Road. On the right hand side there, that is McAllister Park. Not too sure if any soccer teams, football teams play there or whatnot. Might see if that's the case and actually make our way into the National League Championship. Does look like there's some sort of posts up there and they might be football ones. That's a good sign. Might be going there at some stage during this time here at Cashmere Technical, but still not up to too much here on Adelaide Road apart from shops and now the suburbs. And as we keep making our way down Adelaide Road, this honestly feels like more of a bus trip of Adelaide Road than Wellington itself. But on the right hand side coming up here, we have got Wakefield Park and the home of Wellington Olympic. Let's make our way into a very small car park that's quite small compared to the ones that we have in Christchurch. They have a quite nice club rooms compared though to what we've seen so far down south, so that's plus points there. That should be a good spot for the aftermatch, but there is the home of Wellington Olympic. As I see, we pinched lots of our players for that first season at AFC Auckland, the likes of Scott Busselage, Gianni Bazookas, and also Taylor Tamer, who I think is the only player from Wellington Olympic who's actually still there. Also, Jack Henry Sinclair, we pinched him from this club as well these days. Free agent, got let go the season after he got bought by the Central Coast Mariners. But make our way here down the driveway. That looks interesting. It looks like a hazard hut there. I'm not too sure if that's for the groundsman or for something here on the right hand side. Can we find out what this building is? Not too sure, but either way, that could be for the groundsman, but honestly, I'm not too sure. There's a bit more parking down here, but honestly, I think we've got more parking at Cashmere Tech. On the left-hand side, there's the field and whatnot. Can actually get a pretty good view of it from here. Bit of a grass embankment outside the fenced area, so a decent amount of room there for fans to have a look. I think that's about all we might get. Can we make our way down this side of the road? We can. Can we get through the gate? We sort of do, but now I think we've gone back to where we started. In fact, we've kind of just gone a big loop around the place. That looks like AstroTurf. I imagine we might actually be playing on this side where the turf is real, but either way, those are the facilities here at Wakefield Park, our first bus trip in the Central League of New Zealand, and hopefully we can make our way through the quarterfinals as we take on Wellington Olympic in the fourth round of the Chatham Cup. And here are the team sheets of probably the biggest game so far of our time here at Cashmere Technical. There are Wellington Olympic going with a 4-3-3. We'll see what they are up to. Does look like they should be the best team in the Central League. In terms of our strike, comes in at left centre back for Stevenson on a bit of a heavy workload. Also, Bigigio, Lapane and Al Ghazali make their way back into the starting 11. We'll switch over from there around the grounds. Really highlight, it is a corner to the home team. Crump will try and square that one for Tongue. Thankfully, we get a good block on that, falls back to Crump, but Hawkins can make a solid save, and the highlight will continue. Did think that might be the case, as we did get a bit cut off the start of that corner. So this one actually might be in our favour. Walker plays that one back to Lapane, back in the team for this game. Now, Adam does FM got off to a great start in the Southern League. This is a big test from today, and we're on the attack here. Ariosa gets inside the box and puts that one past Mumford just inside that far post. It's a brilliant start. We take an early 1-0 lead, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come against these good teams. We might be pretty darn special ourselves, but that is a good finish on the counter-attack from Ariosa to give us a very early 1-0 lead. Albeit only a few minutes off back of that opening goal. Now we're back down the other end for yet another corner to Wellington Olympic. This time, Michael Glassick gets his head on the end of that one. And set piece FC, it looks like Wellington Olympic, they might be quite dangerous from these. Earned a couple in the first couple of minutes of this game. This time, They get above us in the air. Lots of players there, but no one gets their hit on the end of it. We concede, and it's 1-1. And only a few minutes on from that equaliser, Wellington Olympic here do look like they might be having the run of play in the early stages of thrown, and they make their way into our half rather easily into the final third. Dully, he will find there one of his teammates. Decent chance there from long range. Thankfully, just whistles past that right hand upright. Still 1-1, but Wellington Olympic are on the front foot now. And we go forward to just shy of the 20-minute mark for the next highlight of this game, and hopefully now a chance for us to get back on the front foot after a spell there where Wellington Olympic did start to get something going. Good chance there for Nunes. I say good chance. Good shot from long range. Comes off the post. The goalkeeper kind of gets in the way from the rebound. Otherwise, I think one of our attackers there might have won the race to that ball, but unfortunately, Wellington Olympic, they can clear that one away. As you can see, stats-wise, now starting to even this game up just a little bit as we make our way up towards the half-hour mark, and it's still locked up at 1-1. And pretty short left back of where we left things off the back of that previous highlight. Now it's a throw in here for Wellington Olympic down their left-hand side, and they keep the ball here. Mara Lewin, he squares that one there for Yerrig B and plays that one back to Clayton in the midfield there for Wellington Olympic. They play that one forward again to Tungi. Good square there for Dominic Lee. It's a well-worked goal, and we're behind after taking an early lead here at Wakefield Park. Wellington Olympic might be about to knock us out of the Chatham Cup. This is well worked. They held on to position quite well from that front, and it's a nice ball in there from Tongi to Lee. He puts that one away. 2-1 with 10 minutes left in the first half to Wellington Olympic. And nearly up to half-time in this game. Hopefully a chance for us here to grab a late equaliser in the first half. It's a throw-in, but deep inside of our own half. Munoz, though, starts to make his way forward, plays that back to Lepane, and now Ariosa up to Walker. Hopefully, as I said, chance for us here to equalise. But so far, actually been a relatively even game as Begizio makes his way to the edge of the box. Lepane, Al Ghazali with a shot, but yet again the woodwork will come to the rescue of Wellington Olympic. So far, a couple of shots from us off the back of that opening goal, which have just gone close, but not quite found their way into the back of the net. You could argue we're actually the team on the front foot with more shots overall and a higher XG, but unfortunately the big telling moment was conceding that goal from a corner at the 5-minute mark after we grabbed an early lead through Ariosa, and then they grabbed one through Dominic Lee. Going to make a change here. Adam not actually playing that well on a 6.4, so Josh Tulevi can come on for him, and Nathan Walker, he can switch to the left-hand side. But hopefully the boys will improve in the second half, otherwise we'll be out of the Chatham Cup as we're 2-1 behind at Wellington Olympic. And just going past the hour mark, we've certainly been the team so far on the front foot in the second half, but as of yet, no highlights. Hopefully we get one soon, otherwise might be time for us to make a sub or to go more attacking. There is a highlight that might be in favour of the home team of thrown pretty much on the halfway line. The goal scorer there in Glassic will play that one into our half, albeit not for too long. Ball over the top, and it's actually there going to be won by an Olympic player, but thankfully Begizio will head that one clear, and Walker can now find Tuluvi. What can the former Phoenix man do here against Wellington Olympic? Starts to make his way forward down that right-hand side, just holds things up there, plays that back to Lepane. Interesting pass back there for Walker. Picks out Ariosa, who was onside as well. Thought for sure there he'd be off, but he hits the post. That was a big old chance, and now we start to make our way into the last 20 minutes. Might be time for us to make some subs. I think here we're going to take off Al Ghazali for Gilbert, who's been in pretty good form. Always felt a bit harsh when we've dropped him. And also Orbitine on a 6.5. Mzalgi can come on for him. And while we're here, might just go a bit wider and also up the tempo and play with a high defensive line just to see if that can help us grab an equaliser with only 20 minutes left. And unfortunately, those changes that we made at the 70-minute mark haven't quite worked yet, so we start to make our way now into the last 10 minutes, and it's time for us to go full out attack. Attacking mentality, the wing-backs, they can go on to attack, and also Louis Munoz will put him on to support. I think that's all that we need to do. Might also get our goalkeeper to distribute quickly as well, but hopefully we'll go attacking and it can help us grab an equaliser. Otherwise, going to be out relatively early in this season's Chatham Cup. But we do get a highlight not too long off the back of those attacking changes. 83-minute mark, it's a goal kick there to Wellington Olympic. Nicely controlled there from Tuluvi as we start to make our way into the half. Nice ball over the top there. And Gilbert does get in behind. Michael James Gilbert off the back of that lovely ball from Louis Munoz. We go attacking. It pays off like it did so many times when we were up at AFC Auckland. Maybe it's also going to work down here at Cashmere Technical, but that is a goal at a perfect time. Still got time now for us to hopefully grab a winner, but Gilbert gets in behind, puts that one past Mumford, 2-2, with only a couple of minutes left. This one could be going to extra time. Albeit there is a late highlight now in this game, 88-minute mark, yet again a goal kick here to Wellington Olympic, and yet again we win it at the back that time through Shaun Stride Munoz, who got that good assist before, finds him Zalgi in a lot of space, squares that one nicely for Josh Taluvi. It takes a massive deflection, but 2 late goals to go 3-2 in front here at Wakefield Park. Now it's time for us to drop back to positive and just play a bit more normally in terms of these player roles, and also going to just time waste a little bit to frustrate them here and make sure that hopefully they can't grab a goal back. But those are 2 big late goals, as we did so many times with this tactic at AFC Auckland. Just up the tempo, go a bit wider, and it does seem to be pretty good at getting something late out of these games. We'll be more disciplined and also tell our guys, goalkeeper, to slow the pace down, go back to a standard defensive line, and also, as I said before, should probably think about time wasting late on in this game. We might even go frequent off the back of that 3-2 lead that we've just taken, with 1 minute plus whatever is added on by the referee. But that is a big late goal from our substitute in Josh Taluvi. The former Phoenix man will score against Wellington Olympic, and that could be a big goal to send us through to the quarterfinals of the Chatham Cup. It's been a tight game, albeit based on stats. Feels like one that we probably could be winning a little bit comfortably, but that rather fortunately takes a good touch, that shot from an Olympic defender to take it past Mumford and goal. 2 late goals go from 2-1 down to 3-2 in front. Stats-wise, as you can see, definitely being the better team in this game, especially in the second half. And thankfully, despite the fact we've left it very, very late, we do come from behind and pick up a 3-2 win. So we're through the quarters of the Chatham Cup. So a good late fight back from us there at Wakefield Park to knock out Wellington Olympic. Hopefully that means we can get the better of them as well when we no doubt take them on in the championship phase of the National League. Next week also going through Christchurch United, just getting the job done over Parkland United in a Christchurch derby. Also going through Southland United, Otorohanga, Napier Marist, the West Coast Rangers. Auckland City just got the job done over Mount Albert Ponsonby, and also Papakura City. They are all through to the quarterfinals. I think it's fair to say us, Christchurch and Auckland City, are the big guns left in this competition. And we'll leave things for today with the draw for the quarterfinals. First up out of the hat are Southland United, a South Island team, not in a league. So I'd like to think this is one that if we get, we could win. And that is who we get. It's away from home, but a trip to Invercargill for a quarterfinal I don't think is too bad. At the very least, we avoid Christchurch United as well as Auckland City. Hopefully those 2 teams might play each other and knock one of the other ones out. But in fact, Christchurch United, they are going up north to take on Napier Marist. Otorohanga, they take on Papakura City. And that means that the West Coast Rangers, they will host Auckland City. So thankfully, avoid Auckland City in the quarterfinals of the Chatham Cup. We should be going through now to the semis. Might even skip over that game in amongst our last few of the Southern League season before we do come back for the start of next week, where I think we'll start to get stuck in to the championship phase of the National League. But that will do it for today's episode. We lift the Southern League title with Cashmere Tech and make our way through late to the quarterfinals of the Chatham Cup with that 3-2 win over Wellington Olympic. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. As I said, we'll come back at the start of next week, and the plan will be to get through the rest of our scheduled games and make our way into the championship phase of the National League, unless in between now and then we get Auckland City in the Chatham Cup. So until the start of next week for some National League Championship football, where hopefully we can finish top 2 and make our way into next season's OFC Champions League. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.